Hey, welcome back to Ayurveda and Women's Health and Evolution to Your Higher Self podcast. I have just finished teaching tongue diagnosis to the Ayurveda Alchemist students. And so I thought, you know what? Today on the podcast, I am going to talk about tongue diagnosis because it genuinely one of my favorite diagnostic tools. And honestly, it's something you can start using on yourself right now, today. I know that it sounds a little bit random, but stick with me because your tongue is like a mirror of what's happening inside your body. In traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, we've been reading tongues for thousands of years. And the cool thing is, you don't need any equipment. You don't need to go anywhere. You just need a mirror and about 2 minutes, or even your iPhone. You can take a photo. So by the end of this episode, you're going to understand what your tongue is actually telling you about your digestion, your stress levels, your hydration, whether you're running hot or cold in your body, and honestly, whether you need to make some shifts in how you're taking care of yourself. So let's dive in. First, let's talk about why the tongue is such a reliable diagnostic tool in both Eastern medicine systems. Your tongue has direct access to your digestive system, your nervous system, and your whole circulation. It's highly vascularized, which means blood flow is abundant and it reflects changes in your body incredibly quickly. If something shifts internally, your digestion, your stress, your hydration, your temperature, your tongue will show it sometimes within days. In traditional Chinese medicine, and Ayurveda, the tongue is divided into different zones that correspond to different organ systems. So the tip of your tongue reflects the heart and the lungs, the sides reflect the liver and gallbladder, and the center reflects the spleen and stomach, and the back of the tongue reflects the kidneys and bladder. So literally different areas of your tongue are like a map of your internal organs. So if something appears a little bit different on an aspect of the tongue relating to that organ, then we would look into the tissues of that organ. In Ayurveda, we also look at the tongue through the lens of the doshas and what we call ama, which is toxic metabolic waste that accumulates when digestion isn't working properly. And the tongue is one of the first places you'll see ama show up. The beautiful thing is this isn't mystical, it's observable, it's physical information. Your tongue changes color, coating, texture, moisture, thickness. All of these things can mean something. So I want you guys to start looking at your tongue every day, because once you understand the language, you can read your own tongue and get real insights into what is happening in your body. Okay, so let's look at the basics of reading your tongue. So let's start with the most obvious thing, which is the color of your tongue. A healthy tongue is pale pink, not too pale though, not too dark, just a gentle, natural pink. If your tongue is this color, your circulation is good, your blood is flowing well, and generally speaking, your internal temperature is balanced. However, a really pale tongue, like almost white pale, usually means one of two things. Either you have a lot of cold or coolness internally in your body, which in Chinese medicine we call yang deficiency, or you're depleted and running on empty. And this is common in people who are overworking, under eating, or just exhausted. From an Ayurvedic perspective, a pale tongue can also indicate a kapha imbalance. So if you're seeing a pale tongue, your body is asking for nourishment, for rest. You need to really look at working on the rakta dhatu, which is the blood tissue. Whereas a red tongue, it means heat. There's internal heat in your body. You're running hot. This could be an actual fever, but more commonly, it's inflammation somewhere in the body. It could be stress-driven heat, or it could be that you're eating too many heating foods. It could be that you're pushing too hard. A red tongue is your body saying, I need cooling. I need to slow down. I need anti-inflammatory support. If your tongue is a very dark red or purple, this is more serious, and that shows significant heat or stagnation. And if you are seeing this, it's worth checking in with a practitioner because it usually means something needs attention. A bluish or gray tongue suggests very poor circulation. Again, this warrants professional support. So, color is your first read. What color is your tongue right now? Go pause this, go have a look. I will wait. Either take a pic, get to a mirror, have a look and see what color your tongue actually is. Okay, now let's talk about the coating. This is where things get really interesting because the coating tells you about your digestion and whether armor, those toxins, are present. A healthy tongue has a very thin, almost invisible white coating. It's like a light dusting. That's normal and healthy. A thick white coating, one you can really see, and it's almost like fuzzy, that's armor. That's the sign that your digestion isn't working optimally and toxic metabolic waste is building up. This can be quite common if you're eating too many processed foods, eating too fast, eating when you're stressed, or eating foods your body doesn't digest well. Armor accumulates and shows up as a thick white coating, letting us know that we need to give our digestive system a lot of attention and we need to clear those toxins. This is the time when you are to simplify your diet, eat warm, easily digestible foods, take digestive herbs like triphala, slow down at mealtime, and really support your agni, your digestive fire. Now, a yellow coating means that there is heat in your digestion. Your digestion is inflamed. This is common in people who eat a lot of spicy or heating foods or who are stressed and angry a lot. Yellow coating calls for cooling foods, bitter herbs, and stress management. A grayish coating can indicate more serious digestive disturbance or gut dysbiosis. And this is also worth a lot of professional attention. So check in with your practitioner. If there is absolutely no coating at all, so a tongue that's completely bare and almost really shiny, it usually means that you have a really depleted digestive fire. It's really, really weak. And there's a lot of dryness going on and a lot of depletion. And your body needs a lot of nourishing support and fluid resuscitation, not as in the emergency fluid resuscitation, but your body needs more fluids or oils. When we're looking at the coating of your tongue, it really is your digestive report card. So it's really important to look at the coating regularly so you can see what your digestive agni, your digestive system, is behaving like. So again, you're welcome to pause this and go take a look at your tongue and note what color, how thick, do I have any coating on my tongue, and what does that mean? Okay, so the next aspect we're going to observe is the texture and moisture of the tongue. These two things tie it all together. So the texture, a healthy tongue is fairly smooth and velvety. If your tongue is really bumpy, rough, or textured, that usually indicates dryness. So you're not getting enough nourishment, enough rest, or enough fluids. It can also come from too much heat drying out your tissues. So a lot of internal heat will essentially dry out your internal body. A swollen tongue, so one that looks a little bit puffy or has a lot of teeth marks along the edge, usually means that you're either retaining fluid and your digestion is sluggish. The scalloped edges around the tongue can represent malabsorption of the nutrients, again, meaning poor Agni digestive system. And when we're looking at it being like that sort of flabby, puffy-ish, swollen-ish look, but it's not red, then again, we want to be understanding if there is retention of fluid somewhere in the body. Is the lymphatic system supported? Is that moving efficiently? Because it could be a sign that it isn't. And this is common in people with slower metabolisms or those who are eating too many heavy, hard to digest foods. We also want to notice the moisture of a tongue. So a healthy tongue has a light sheen of saliva, but so it's moist, but it's not like dripping. Whereas a dry tongue is one that looks almost parched. It indicates, again, that dryness, that dehydration, or in TCM, we say yin deficiency. You're not getting enough of the cooling, moistening essence in your body. And this is super common actually in perimenopause. So if you've got a really dry tongue, you need hydration, hydrating, nourishing foods, more healthy oils and fats, and honestly, you probably need to slow down. An overly wet tongue, on the other hand, suggests that there's a lot of dampness in the system. And this is, again, usually due to poor digestion and can indicate fluid retention. So texture and moisture give you information about hydration, depletion, and how your digestion is moving. So now that you have had a look at your tongue, now that you know all of this information, what do you actually do with it? Here's the thing. You now have a diagnostic tool that takes 2 minutes and costs nothing. But the real value is what you do with the information. If you're seeing a pale tongue with a thick white coating, your body needs warmth and digestive support. So you want to nourish your body with warm cooked foods. Think of adding spices like ginger, cumin, fennel. Maybe you need to incorporate some triphala at night to help support, detoxify the digestive system and the armor. You want to avoid over oiling yourself internally or externally because there could be armor present. So we don't want to add too much internal or external at this stage until that armor starts to lift and becomes more clear. You want to be able to nourish the body by giving yourself an early bedtime as well. However, if you're seeing a red tongue with a yellow coating, your body needs cooling and some anti-inflammatory support. So you want to be offering it some lighter foods, some bitter greens, maybe coconut and cooling spices. You may even need, depending on the individual and looking at the whole context of the presentation, herbs such as Brahmi or Jatamansi for the heat of the mind. Someone with this presentation of tongue may also need to be looking at their stress management. Has internal stress created internal heat? Now, if you're seeing a dry, rough tongue, your body again needs nourishment and hydration. So more healthy oils like ghee, maybe more bone broth, more rest, more self-care. This is when you're going to really oil and nourish the body externally and internally. So really, the tongue is your body's honest feedback. It's not judging you. It is just showing you what could potentially be happening on the inside. And the more you pay attention to it, the more you can support your body in real time rather than waiting until something becomes a serious problem. So check your tongue every morning. It takes like 2 minutes. Notice what you see And then ask yourself, what does my body need right now? And that's what I love about Ayurveda and all of the different diagnostic tools. It is actually helping you create more self-awareness. The reason I'm so passionate about these tools, specifically tongue diagnosis, is because it puts the power back in your hands. You don't need to wait for a doctor's appointment or feel confused about what's happening in your body. Your tongue is telling you right now. And once you understand it, you can start making small adjustments to your diet, your routine, your stress management that actually address what's happening rather than just guessing. If you want to go deeper with this on how to read your tongue or your client's tongue in the context of your whole health picture or their whole health picture, how to understand what your specific constitution needs and how to read your specific constitution on the tongue, so the doshas, the vata, pitta, or kapha, or how to use tongue diagnosis alongside other Ayurvedic diagnostic tools, that's exactly what we cover in the Ayurveda Alchemist Academy. There's a whole module on diagnostic tools. I've just been teaching it, and it is one of my favorites to teach. And I'm going to put the link in the show notes for you so you can check out our academy. For now, though, I would love for you to go look at your tongue, notice what you see, and start listening to what your body is telling you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a little different, and I look forward to bringing you the next one. Namaste.